This morning I'm going to take us through the foundations of the social age, sort of thinking about what is the world that we're in today, how is it different from the world that came before. It is fundamentally different.
In essence, what I think would be really helpful to talk about is what in your experience exists beyond the limits of the institutional and technological world.
We've known for a while that leaders in our Northwest are having to operate at different levels. So they're working with communities in their organisations and across systems. And so we've got some fantastic external speakers in Julian Stodd and Cormac Russell. And we've invited them as a bit of a positive disruption and challenge to look at and really consider what it means to be a social leader and how do we go about engaging with communities as we transform our services in health and care.
We need to develop social leadership capability alongside the formal leadership capability that we have. We need both. This is not a replacement for formal leadership. Well, for me, the interesting thing with the NHS is that people generally understand the challenges. We understand the different bodies and parties that have an interest in what's going on. We understand many of the underlying tensions. We understand the core social purpose and place in society. So our challenge is less to comment on what the problems are, but to engage in the change, to find new types of power, new types of spaces, new types of communities.
One of the things that strikes me about really building strong community is that like-mindedness is the enemy of diverse communities. And what I mean by strong communities is communities that have a welcome for the stranger at the edge, not communities that have become bunkered and tribalistic. Well, I suppose it's essentially to kind of think about how, as leaders, they can be helpful to community building as a process and think a little bit outside the classic box of providing services to people as passive consumers, and really see people as powerful agents of change in their own right and to see themselves as facilitators.
I think it will strike a chord with people here today, some of whom will know about this already, particularly as we've got colleagues from local authority and public health and other services who've perhaps done more of the asset-based approach than we have in health, but I know there's some fantastic examples as well.
I think the point of a masterclass such as this one is a chance to share ideas, to come together with people that you know and people that you don't know, to hear some things that you are working on, to be able to share those stories. It's really a space for collaboration. For me, the real value comes not so much from what happens in the room, but in the conversations that persist beyond it as people go back into their everyday world and try to make a real difference.
There's lots of discussion. I think the audience here hasn't disappointed. There's a bit of challenge and all that is going really well, and I feel where it gets us is to a completely different place in terms of thinking and mindsets.
So hopefully you will teach me the context by talking about what you think might be possible, but also some of the dilemmas you face when it comes to promoting citizen-led action.
I really love the fact that everybody engaged well. I was able to be myself as well. I was sat next to a CCG member and I didn't feel out of place, so it was quite, collaborative and very involving.
One of the things that's come through consistently in the morning and the afternoon is the power of narrative and the power of storytelling, and about how you can relate as an individual and bring a system and a community along with you.
The one thing that I think we need to do more work on is on our community and our community assets, and how do we motivate and activate them to do more for themselves.
I think it's really about promoting local residents as leaders themselves, about upskilling them and kind of that bottom-up approach that seems really appropriate to the work that we're doing at the moment.
What we're really interested in is how does this work in practice, and actually who's tried this out and what's been the impact of that. And where do we take this next? Because remember, we are a members organisation and I think we're a community of leaders, and so we don't believe we have all the answers, and it's actually bringing people together and listening to that experience that helps us grow as a community here in the Northwest.
So our challenge isn't always to demand more power or to understand what formal authority we have to change. It's to understand how we can gently reduce mistrust, how we can engage in difference with humility, how we can use social capital to build the high functioning communities and act in service of them, which will enable us to deliver that change.